Kinard Middle School. I'm Annika.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Zara.
And we come from an organization at our school called Kinard C.A.R.E.S. It works on becoming a sustainable living environment, not just for us, but for our community.
Kinard C.A.R.E.S stands for Community, Action, Results, Environment, and Service.
Here's an overlay of our school.
It was built in 2005 to 2006 and costed about $17 million.
Kinard was the only school in the state of Colorado to earn a perfect score of 100 based on ENERGY STAR standards. It was the first school in the country to be designed specifically to earn an ENERGY STAR, which it was awarded in its first year of occupancy in 2007.
Kinard is the most energy efficient school in the state of Colorado with 20 to 25 kBtu per square foot a year. In 2013, we won the Green Ribbon School Award, and we are a bronze level partner in the Colorado Environmental Leadership Program. Because of our Green Ribbon School Award, we were invited by the U.S. Department of Education to lead a tour of our school.
If you want to check out any of our cool features about our school, you can check out the links above. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Michael and this is Tyler, and we're here to talk to you about electrical energy at Kinard. The most important thing to remember is that buildings don't use energy, people do.
So the primary source of energy used at Kinard is electrical energy, and 75 to 80% of energy used at Kinard is electrical energy. So 1/3 of that energy goes to powering artificial lighting, and if you'll look behind you at the lights on the ceiling, you'll see our artificial lights, and we do use fluorescent light bulbs to minimize energy usage in these lights.
Also, 100% of the electrical energy here at Kinard comes from wind power. So if you'll look here, you can see that there's two options. There's coal, which many buildings use, and that pollutes the air and is a non-renewable resource, so will run out someday. But Kinard uses wind, so that's never going to run out, being a renewable resource, and it's clean to the environment. Also, the blue panel light covers here add some character to the building, as well as break up the space of light.
Daylight features. I'm Bobby and this is Josh.
Did you know that Colorado has over 300 blue sky days a year? With all this natural daylight coming our way, it seems silly to go through all that time and energy to create electricity for the artificial lighting fixtures that are in our school.
Our building was designed to be transparent, so this means that we can stand at one end of the school and look all the way down to the other end of the school and see our gorgeous foothills in the distance. Since our building is over 500 feet long, that's really impressive and about as transparent as a building can get.
As Bobby just said, our school is really long from east to west, but short from north to south. This maximizes the amount of natural daylight that comes into our school. One of the unique features of Kinard is that each of our classrooms has exterior windows that allows natural daylight to come into our school. This exposes our children to the most maximal amount of daylight possible.
The orientation of our site allows us to minimize the sunrise and sunset glare, but take full advantage of the seasonal changes in the sun's angle in the sky.
Hi, welcome to the Media Center. I'm Kate and this is Courtney, and we are going to tell you about key important features in this room that are very energy efficient.
If you look up, you can see these lights, and while they look like lights, they are actually called solar tubes. Solar tubes have a dome-like structure on the top of the roof that collect and absorb all of the natural sunlight. It then travels down the tube and into the room below.
So if you look through these windows right here, you will see the window wells, and these window wells help block direct sunlight coming in from outside. With sunlight, with too much of it, it will cause too much heating in the room, which will cause the air conditioner to work overtime. So we use these window walls to block direct sunlight, which creates a nice, cool environment for learning.
Also, if you look up, you notice that our ceilings are open. The reason for this is we want students to be able to learn wherever they go. This teaches people how our building functions and keeps everyone cool and comfy inside. Another thing cool about our ceilings is they have a slant to help transfer the direct sunlight all the way throughout the room and reflect directly on top of the students below.
You may have heard Courtney talk about the solar tubes and the way they function on the top of the roof. And I just wanted to mention how many more solar tubes we have here. At our school, we have about 100 solar tubes. At the top of our school, we have domes that collect the sunlight, and they distribute it evenly to each of the pods in our middle school. This cuts down a lot on the artificial fixtures in our school.
So you've just learned a lot about our architectural features, but let's go over there and learn more about the design features in depth. Here you can see that we have specially chosen rails, which might just seem like they're to keep students safe on the second level, but actually serve a very important part in our building transparency. They have grating and holes in them so that they can let the light from our giant windows come through and go through all the way down to the second level. And even our stairs help with the natural daylight because they have tiny Swiss cheese-like holes that allow the sunlight to go into all the nooks and crannies.
Because we have so many windows, we have to be really smart on how we design them. At our windows, we have two different parts. The first 4 layers have a tint that allows the maximum amount of daylight to come into our school. However, it minimizes the glare because we don't want our students to have intensity in their eyes. The last layer, however, serves a different purpose, which is to maximize the amount of sunlight that comes into our school.
Hi, I'm David and this is Jack, and we're going to talk to you about how natural light affects classroom and our learning environment. The windows along the exterior walls here at Kinard allow for the maximum amount of natural daylight to enter the building. Do you notice the blind-like features in the top windows?
These are called light louvers. They serve the purpose of redirecting the light up towards the ceiling, however do not serve the purpose of blocking out light like blinds do. This is so that the ceiling, which you can see is slanted, can redirect the light all the way across the classroom. It is slanted so that we can use as much natural daylight as possible. This is known as the cloud effect because it acts like the clouds outside, which obviously redirect the light down back onto the earth, such as the ceiling redirects the light back down onto the students for a good learning environment. As you can see, the lights are not on in this classroom right now. It is a very cloudy day outside and not very much light is coming in. However, with these features in our classrooms, we can make it so that we do not have to use artificial lighting on gloomy days. Also, over here on the wall, another feature you can see is the color break from beige to white. This is because the bright white reflects more light than it absorbs, which creates a good learning environment for our students here at Kinard. Teachers are encouraged not to hang posters above this color break so that we can maximize our natural daylight intake.
Jack mentioned earlier that the cloud effect helps get natural daylight throughout the classroom, although it sometimes gets gloomy in the back of the classroom. And one feature that helps us stop this is we have solar tubes in the back of the classroom to help the sunlight be evenly distributed. Due to our position in the northern hemisphere, the north-facing classrooms need more windows and no light louvers because the sun rises in the east, goes towards the south or directly overhead, and then sets in the west. This allows for no direct sunlight rays to enter the classroom.
Another thing that helps us maximize our natural daylight intake is we have sensors on the roof of Kinard that sense when enough light is coming into the classroom that we do not need lights on in the classroom. These disable the light switch once it turns off the lights in the classroom so that no teacher or student can turn on the lights if there is already enough natural light coming in. This helps us to minimize our artificial energy use here at Kinard.
Thank you for being interested in our geothermal heating and cooling station. For our school's ventilation system, it uses geothermal heating and cooling. This means that we have 100 pipes that circulate water 300 feet below our school's campus and then circulates it back up to this room.
This pump room is like the heart of the sophisticated circulatory system found here at Kinard. It pumps water filled with heat energy into other areas of our school. The temperature found inside the water is then transferred into ventilation ducts as warm or cool air and is used in our classrooms. Since the ground is such a consistent temperature, this energy is used as heat in the winter and AC in the summer.
Chances are your home uses natural gas. This involves burning non-renewable fossil fuels and will then pollute the earth. Geothermal heating and cooling is a renewable source and keeps the earth the way it should be.
While it may be really expensive to install this geo-exchange system, it is a worthwhile investment because it vastly cuts down on utility costs every year.
Did you know that Kinard gets all of its heating and cooling from geothermal, from the earth, which is unlike any other heating cooling system we usually use. And what's really ideal about this is that there's 100 wells and sort of a grid-like pattern just under my feet here, and they go 300 feet below, and what they do is they get the water to the perfect temperature for the heating and cooling needs, and they basically take it, and there's pipes that take it to the school. And so this is really where the geothermal journey begins.
You probably just heard about the start of our geothermal journey and the heart of the geothermal system. Now we're behind the locker bays, and inside these doors you'll get to see the end of the geothermal journey, and in there are water furnaces that'll eventually heat classrooms just like this one.
Let's go take a look.
Okay, the water collected from outside is all brought up to here, and then the water furnaces, they extract the temperature out of the water, and then that water is put into our air ducts, and those air ducts convert that temperature into each individual classroom.
At your houses, you probably use natural gas heating and cooling, which is a cheap and abundant way to heat your home. But some downsides of that is that it causes lots of pollution and releases greenhouse gases into the air.
A common misconception with geothermal heating, because of the thermal part, is that geothermal is only to heat in the winter. However, because the heat in the ground is relatively consistent, it converts over here as either heating in the winter or air conditioning in the summer.
Thanks for clicking on the building envelope and insulation link. As you have heard before, our geothermal and our natural daylighting features are a key factor to the energy efficiency of our school. Another hidden secret is the building envelope and insulation. As you walk by, you may not notice, but it helps contribute to our perfect 100 Energy Star rating and is both economically efficient and energy efficient. So while other buildings waste energy pumping the heat and the air conditioning, we save money to help build a better school.
Just like you see on HGTV, under the bricks of Kinard lays a 3-inch spray-on foam. This is known as polyurethane foam. This insulation adds an extra layer of protection to our building. When building Kinard, we added this foam and put the bricks on top.
So, windows are the greatest source of leaking energy in a building. A picture was taken by a heat-sensing camera, and it was evident that the border of the windows was where the most air escaped. So here at Kinard, we have double-pane windows with a thin layer of argon gas in the middle. This provides a very thick barrier and keeps the inside air in and the outside air out.
Thanks for watching!
Just inside these doors we have our green gym. Part of what makes our gym so great is the automated sensors, just like our CO2 occupancy sensors. These are located in the rafters. These detect the quantity of CO2 being emitted by people breathing and determines if the room is occupied.
Once the sensors are triggered, they communicate with the ventilation system. This allows more air to flow into the gym. This cool trick helps us to conserve energy if the gym is vacant. Another cool feature in our gym is the cow wall windows. These are located above the banners. They're a translucent canvas-like material. They have prismatic glass fibers in them that help to distribute a balanced, diffused, and natural daylight into the space. They help to make the most of the light we have, and they help with the insulation properties.
Just outside the cafeteria, we have window walls. Just like in another video, these window walls help block the sun's rays from heating up the glass, causing our air conditioner to work overtime.
Welcome to our cafeteria. I'm Ritzia. Look around and count how many trash cans you can see. If you're having a hard time counting, that's because we have none here. Here at Kinard, we try to reduce our waste to as little as possible by forcing our kids to making different alternatives to trash. Around the corner, you'll see that we have composting and recycling.
Hi, I'm Macy. Here at Kinard, we really teach our students to be responsible with their actions. When they come over to our waste management station, we ask them, when you throw something away, where is away? Because we ask them this, only 11% of our food waste actually goes in the trash. As you can see, we've developed this food waste station, and over here we compost to prevent how much goes into the landfill every year. We compost fresh fruits and vegetables except for citrus. As we come over here, everything that goes into this gets shipped away to A1 Organics, and it gets grinded up and microorganisms decompose it as it sits there. And here in the waste, we throw everything that can be recycled, composted, or heat composted away in here. And over here, as you can see, we recycle aluminum, plastic that hasn't been touched by food, and plastic water bottles. One of the projects we do at Kinard C.A.R.E.S is we go to Catalina Island, California, and learn about environmental leadership and human impact, which is where we got the idea for this mural. It goes from negative human impact or invasive species such as pine beetle kill and fracking to native species where it's biodiversity. Also in this sign, it says, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," or "Become eco." And this is another Kinard C.A.R.E.S project that takes plastic water bottles and creates them into something beautiful, or a nature-like scenario. Another project we've done in Kinard C.A.R.E.S was collect the amount of water bottles we use in a week, which is 400 water bottles, the height of an average 8th grade student. We use this to teach students to be aware of how much plastic they're using and to encourage them to use reusable water bottles instead of using plastic. As you can see, our projects really focus on human impacts and how it affects the environment in our community.
Hey, so thank you for clicking on our station. My name is Sage and this is Courtney. So here's where we plan to have an outdoor learning center. And what we mean by that is an environment where students will no longer be held back by a generic classroom where the learning becomes endless. And this outdoor learning center would include a garden, a greenhouse, and it would incorporate service learning projects, and it will incorporate more outdoor things. So over here we have solar cookers, which it uses the sun and reflects it in, and it can bake anything. A lot of the times we do cookies, which is a bunch of fun. And the whole encompassing piece of this is just for students to have experiences that are totally different than just gain a worksheet. It's something that brings together the environment and learning, which is a big deal here.
This outdoor learning center also helps students come in touch with their community and the environment around them. And even though we can only bring 25 students to Catalina, we learn things there like the CALP principles that help that allow us to incorporate them in the school, and we try to make sure that all 800 students here will be able to learn the same things. And with our projects that we do in Kinard C.A.R.E.S, we also have the worms and compost, and they're one of the most known projects around the school. And the worms, we feed nitrogen and carbon from our school cafeteria And this all used to be our cafeteria scraps, but now it's beautiful soil that the worms ate and produced. And the soil also helps to give energy to all the trees and plants, and it's just better for the earth.
And a lot of these ideas were inspired from our trip to Catalina, which only 25 students can go to, but we try to bring it back for 800 students. And this is the question we try to keep asking ourselves: is this cycle sustainable? Which is really important, because if it's to keep things sustainable, that means that everything can benefit from it. That means the earth, that means us, and that means economically too. So that's a big deal.
And also with our projects from Catalina, we learned 4 kelp principles that have to do with everything in the earth, and we try to incorporate those throughout the school. So for our composting, we bring it back and we teach all of the students here how to compost and like how it works. And so to get the nitrogen and carbon, we collect all of the food that came from the ground, and then we take it all and make sure it's all good for the worms, and we break it down and like chop it up so that it's easier for the worms to digest, and then we dump it into a waste bin for the worms to eat.
And what's important is with the balance of the mixture, once you chop it all up and it's like a little puree, but you got to make sure that there's a lot more carbon, which is like your paper materials, than food, which is the nitrogen. You need to balance that to like a 10-to-1 ratio. And you gotta wait. You gotta let the worms take it all in and to eat it, and then soon digest it. And then once they've digested it, then you can harvest it and you can use it for plants, but it's also like a superfood for them. So you can't give too much to a plant. It's good to mix in with other soils, but it really gives that extra boost to make really healthy plants.
In our cafeteria at Kinard, we provide students with a variety of healthy food options, some of which are seasonal and locally grown.